What is going on, guys? Welcome to not the last week's show this episode. This is the last year episode. We're talking about the best games of
Wrapping it up.
2016.
2016.
We're back.
We're
2017 and we're back. Feels good to be.
It feels good.
Feels really good to be back.
It always feels good.
You know, we talk nerd crap all the time, so it's always great.
Yeah.
As always, I'm Eric, a.k.a. Coda Fox, surrounded by my best friend. We got Matt Campbell, Matty C. Man, has 2016 been a really great year for games?
My gosh, what a good year. What a good year.
So, our segment for this episode is the best games of 2016. It's going to be a little bit different how we're editing this post-edits, so I'm going to have a fun night over the weekend. So this is going to be posting Monday on my birthday.
Yeah.
So, yay, I'm going to be 26.
I know, right? It's nothing special. There's nothing special.
It's like, yay, 26. Well, anyways, man, I don't even know where to start. So, how would you like to do this, Matt? Would you want to just do the honorable mentions first or probably last?
We'll do the honorable mentions. Well, let's do them first.
Yeah, you know, because they deserve to be mentioned.
They deserve to be mentioned, and I'm a sucker for saving the best for last, you know.
Okay.
So
And then we'll let you go first.
All right, pull up my list here. And I did this on the fly. They were already in my head, but we may be adding to it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I didn't, disclaimer, I didn't like fully play all of these games, but I got enough out of it to be like
A judgment on it, essentially.
yeah.
Mhm.
So let's start, and these are in no particular order, obviously, because they're just honorable mentions. So first one on my list is Inside.
Inside.
Inside
Oh, man.
is awesome.
Oh,
This
I forgot
almost-
about that.
This almost made it to my top 8. The only reason I didn't put it in my top 8 is because it's short. You know, it's just one clean
Clean playthrough.
that
It
was
just-
nice.
It was a
but-
one nice afternoon.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
it's really, really mind bending.
Okay, so I'm going to say this right now before we get into even more spoilers. If we start talking about stuff,
Very, very true.
just keep in mind. So if we
That
say a
probably
game
goes hand in hand with any countdown you watch.
and the videos that I'm going to be posting as we're talking about this, I'm going to try not to find spoilers. So just be aware of that. But yeah, Inside, the story was just fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was Playdead's second coming of Limbo.
Yeah.
And it's how are they going to top Limbo?
Inside.
And it's the coolest, I think the coolest part in that game was when you were in that line of people and you had to act like you were following in line.
Just conformity, falling
yes.
in line, which is kind of that's
And,
the plot of that game.
Even during that part, you were like, oh crap, you learned a lot about the background in that. They're
Yeah.
selling people.
Yeah.
It's what is happening in this game?
Right. It was.
And I really hope, God, even that ending though, it was so weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The entire time my mouth is just dropped. What is happening with this game? But it was so epic and wanting to know what happens. I really can't wait to see what
Yeah.
Playdead's next game is gonna be.
I didn't start it. Unfortunately I watched a friend go through it, but I'm gonna play it myself.
Oh, okay.
I watched
I'm
a
glad I
friend
didn't
play
say
it,
anything.
so I didn't see all of it, and I kind of watched the end a long time ago when it first came out, and was
Mhm.
but I feel like I have to experience the whole game to at least maybe try and make an understanding of the ending. So, yeah. So Inside, awesome.
Okay. So my first honorable mention, Dishonored 2. Now, this
Okay.
wrapped my head because I wanted to put it on my list.
Okay.
However, with my mindset that has been lately, I haven't been able to get into first-person games that much.
I feel you. I feel you.
It's it's almost like I'm fatigued, but when we actually go into the proper list, I do have a couple first-person games. But yeah, the Dishonored 2 is just, I love the first Dishonored. The second one gives you even more freedom, gives you the choice to choose between Amelia and what's the guy's name? Corvo. So you get to play as either one, and it's like it feels different depending on who you play as.
Okay.
You got different powers as Corvo or Amelia, Emily, or Emily, not Amelia. I'm thinking of a different game. Emily, and it's just like it's so immersive to where like you see what you're supposed to do, then how are you gonna do it? How are you gonna do this? Are you gonna kill anybody? Because if you do that, you get the high chaos rating, which is kind of like almost ends up being a bad rating anyway. So you don't want to kill anybody. So how do you go about either ghosting without even knocking anybody out, letting you know that you're there, or just
Guns blazing,
killing people, and just to watch
Swords
the
at the
story
ready.
like change depending on your actions with
That's
that, which
cool.
is really cool.
That's cool. So it does shape the story, how
Mhm.
you kill or not.
Oh
kill.
yeah, because the first one was big on that. Like, I think there was a meme somewhere for the first Dishonored where it was like, gets framed for murder, kills 10 million people. Because it's like, honestly, it's like, why would you play like that? Because then the story doesn't make any sense. Because it's like you're framed for murder because you didn't kill anybody, but then you're gonna kill everybody.
Right.
But I digress. Matt, what is your other honorable mention?
My other honorable mention is actually The Division. It was like I was really
Okay.
bouncing between top 8 or honorable mention, and I think I'm going to say honorable mention, high up honorable mention. Like I said, it was almost in the top 8.
I'll definitely be talking about the Division here in a little bit.
All right, because I haven't seen the new update. But I liked it. I really liked it. But there was just something about it. There's something about it. There was a couple things about it that I was just like, I'm going to drop this game for a while.
See, I'll come back to it.
Like, fun. It's fun.
It
like,
is definitely
it's
fun.
all there. It's like, it's what a lot of developers suffer from. Like, the concept is all there. The material's all there. It just wasn't executed very well
it's essentially
at launch.
like any first game that Ubisoft makes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, really, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They have so many cool ideas of what they want to do, but then give them time, and they'll perfect it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll run it in the ground.
Give them time or give them a sequel, which we'll get to that.
We'll get to that in a second. So, my other honorable mention, XCOM 2. Now, I played XCOM when it came out on the PC, and then I waited for it to come out, to the better console, PS4.
I want to play it.
It's so much fun, and like just the strategy in that game. Like, I love strategic games like that, to where it's like
strategy games.
it's literally like chess. You're trying to like
Yeah.
outthink the AI that is super smart and unpredictable, And then like you have these aliens that like they have different powers where like the Viper one will pull your person where you thought you were safe right into the middle of like the battle and just completely throw you off your strategy, and you have to adapt. And like that game throws you a lot of headaches, and then the whole permadeath aspect of it, customizing
man.
your characters to like basically be your friends, because that's what I do. I always make our group. I'll make
Yeah,
I won't make
love
me
that.
because I consider me the commander.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. But then the first game I did put me in, but after thinking, I'm like, nah, I'm the commander. So, I got Glenn. If like somebody dies, I'll call him like Glenn Parsons the second or something stupid like that. You're still going.
Yeah.
A couple of my other friends are still going. Glenn
What-
did die, unfortunately, by a Viper. And that's why I brought that up the first time.
Oh no. Let's have a moment of silence.
R.I.P. Glenn.
for Glenn.
Congratulations on that wedding, by the way. Even though
Congrats.
you're dead.
Yeah.
So,
It was
Yeah.
actually Glenn the second who got married.
Glenn the second got married. Actually, yeah, he's been revived into the second coming. So, yeah, game is fantastic. I want people to play the online. Like, I want people so I can play against them online, because even that is so strategic to where you have so many points to pick different units and troops. So it's kind of like, should I use this person for this so I can do this? And it's like, now what are they gonna do? Because it's so many. It's just like rock paper scissors in some instances, where it's like, if you got a sniper, Get them back with the long shot. That way you can have squad sight, so when you get up to somebody, they can still snipe from far back, and they don't have to get into the battle. You don't have to worry about vipers or anything like that. The game is just a never-ending gobstopper when it comes to strategy. Thinking about it now makes me really want to go back to it, and it saddens me that I didn't make it on the list.
Yeah, I gotta play it.
So you got another honorable mention?
I do. And I said Tomb Raider for an honorable mention, just because I don't know. It came out last year. It's the second game, or it's the second time it's come out, but it is for PS4. Also, I have barely touched it. Love it. Loved the first one, but I barely touched it. Can't wait to get into it. It's still the Tomb Raider we know and love. Well, at least the last one. You got your crafting, you've got your campsites. I wish I could mention more. I haven't played it much.
There will be more here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Tomb Raider is one of my favorite franchises, and it did make my list. So
yeah.
Stay tuned for which number it made.
So
yay,
Tomb Raider.
I'm glad Tomb Raider is back. Another honorable mention on mine would be... this was hard. Dragon Quest Builders.
I want to play it. I absolutely love Dragon Quest, because they've been showing previews of
I'm gonna do
11 coming out for the PS4.
I'm going to do a cross.
Or 9. I'm sorry, Dragon Quest 9 coming out for the PS4, and I'm so excited for that game.
Dragon Quest Builders / Dragon Quest Heroes.
Okay.
Because I know those are two different games. However, I didn't want to separate them because me not being a Dragon Quest fan makes me really interested to try more Dragon Quest now. Even though those are totally different games. It's I like the lore in this, to where it's the enemies and stuff like that, and I like the art style, and I'm this is really interesting.
So Dragon Quest 9, I'm immensely excited for. So think classic Final Fantasy, but
I saw a gameplay of it, and I'm that looks really fun.
Like Dragon Ball animation, but it's classic Final Fantasy. It's amazing.
And the fact that they are making these things come to the West.
Yes, finally.
So I'm pretty excited for that. Really. So, do you have another honorable mention, or shall we start?
I got a few more.
Okay, cool. I got a few more too, so I want to be sure.
Next on the list is Deus Ex.
Yes, that was actually one of my honorable mentions, so I come up with a different one.
Deus Ex, awesome. This is, man, it was hard to differ between top 8 and honorable mentions this year. We had some freaking hits this year.
Yes. I really wanted to put that on my list, but it was still in the same vein of I was burnt out on first-person games when it came out.
Yeah.
And then other games came out to burn me out on first-person games even more, and I haven't been able to get back to it.
Yeah.
I loved the first Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Loved the first one.
The newest of the reboots.
The one on 360 and PS3.
I still like the other Deus Exes.
They're all good.
Yeah.
They're all great games. Yeah. Again, New Year's resolution for me: play more games. There's unforeseen reasons I haven't mentioned why I haven't really been able to play many games this year, but come second week of February, gaming marathons. I'm telling you, I'm going to catch up on everything.
Starting January 9th. It's my last day.
That sucks, man.
It sucks.
It sucks,
but then
you're
I'm excited and ready to go through backlogs.
Me too. I can't wait. It's second week of February for me is when I'm going to start backlogs.
I'm going really far into my backlog.
Me too. I'm busting out The Witcher. I'm going to beat that game.
I have that downloaded on my PS4 now.
I want to play Blood and Wine. People are
I know.
People are saying it's the greatest DLC ever made.
The fact that it got, one of the things for this year's Game Awards.
Yeah.
It's okay, I'm going to have to try it out, and I'm not going to do that skip, get to level 30 to try the Blood and Wine. I'm I want to play the actual game.
Right, and I'm level 20-something right now, so.
See, I was that one on the Xbox, but now I'm playing on the PS4, and I'm only like 14.
Yeah, but like people have said that Blood and Wine is like
Really,
The Witcher
really good.
3.5. It's huge. It's in a huge expansive world. It's like a Fallout story DLC but bigger. So yeah, 2017 resolution, backlog gaming. Can't wait. Do you have any more?
So, yes, I do.
Okay.
Titanfall.
Titanfall.
Titanfall 2. I was sad. I wanted to put this on my list.
It's high up on your honorable mention.
It's really high up. This is why it's kind of coming last, because this gets to, the ones that I really find near and dear.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mine were in no particular order because I have some my last two ones are silly.
Titanfall was actually during the instance where I was getting burnt out on first-person games.
Okay. That's
Somehow, I enjoyed myself playing that story because it was so unique.
Yes, it is very unique. I'm about halfway through it right now, and it's awesome.
Like, that time aspect in that
Mhm.
game was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
The
in
mission,
a first-person game.
the
Like,
mission where you find out about Major Anderson and the Ark. That was so cool.
right?
That was so
And
cool.
I wish, this is the only reason why I didn't make my list. It had the promise of a Metal Gear Solid game with the boss battles, but they didn't push it more. Because
You're
it's
right.
like,
You're
it,
right.
it felt like unique unique villains.
Right.
But then
But
when
the
it
battle,
came to
the
fight
battle
them,
wasn't unique. The
and
battle,
it was just kind of like, oh,
villains unique. Combat was still Titanfall.
Yeah.
They didn't change anything, and I know what you mean because
'cause
I'm
it
like,
felt like an old school Metal Gear Solid game, like where you're
Yeah.
like, oh crap, that boss is coming up, but then it's like, oh, it's just okay. I'm just gonna keep shooting, doing what I do. It's not gonna be something where I have to find a unique way to kill this Titan.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, let's just pop it full of bullets.
yeah, the executions are
But
cool.
it's really cool, yeah. Like that was the only that's one of the reasons why it may not have made more on my list because it reminded me of it, but then it also reminded me that it wasn't.
Yeah, that's fair. This is a pretty funny honorable mention. I debated not even putting it on the list, but I did just because it was just such a cult phenomenon
Oh, gosh.
explosion. You already know what I'm going
I
to
already
mention.
know what you're gonna say.
Freaking Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Look, let's face it. When it first came out,
Everybody
everybody's
was talking about it.
everybody's jaws hit the floor. They're like, "It's out! It's out! Let's go catch Pokemon!" And thank
And it went
goodness.
poof.
Thank goodness they brought it out, in what was it like the
It was
beginning
like
of
during the
July
summer,
or
yeah.
something like that. No, it was in like June or something like that.
Where it was like really nice out.
It was really nice out. The summer was just beginning. We all went out and caught Pokemon.
Yeah.
I mean, the first 2 weeks that
There was a
game
lot
came
of good
out-
memories, like people just walking around catching Pokemon.
and like that's the other reason why I mentioned it. It was because like it was such like everybody was playing this game. We would go to parks just to walk around and be like, let's go on an adventure and catch Pokemon. And we would go to parks and it'd be full of people. I went to a Pokemon event that they were holding, that the Pokemon company was holding at a park in Lorraine. And it was huge. Everybody was there. It was awesome. I don't know. I was trying to figure out what made it an event. The Pokemon company, they just doled out the things that the attractors the modules that they put on stops.
Mhm.
They basically put them on there for free and had them up for like 3 hours.
That's cool.
And then they created a new stop at the park for the event. So they were like stop, and they all had attractors on them, and it was really cool.
I feel like that game can come back after updates.
It can.
If they do like battles, like friend battles and stuff like
Right,
that,
right.
and make it more like trading like actual Game Boy Pokemon.
Yes.
That would attract me back, honestly.
They need to implement. They need to implement new Pokemon, which they kind of had a cut. They
I thought
brought
that
out
they
a couple
started
new ones. They
doing-
brought out
yeah.
like Togepi and Pichu and maybe a couple other ones. They need to add. I think, in my opinion, they need to add a little bit more detail into the map. I think it's cool, but they need to add a little bit more detail. They need to just add more stops.
Yeah. It's kind of like sometimes they get pretty barren where you're like,
Yeah, especially in a town like ours. It's small. There's not, we don't live in a metropolitan city
No.
area, so there's not a stop around every corner. But it's Pokemon. It's
Yeah.
Pokemon Go. It was huge. It probably has like over 2 billion downloads right now. But I got burnt out. Everybody got burnt out of this game, and they're just like, well, I don't live in a high traffic area, so I'm not really gonna. I mean, I never really whip out my phone for Pokemon anymore when I'm out,
me either.
unless I'm just like, oh yeah, I guess I could see if there's Pokemon here. But anywho,
So, how many honorable mentions do you have left?
one more.
Just one more? Okay. So, my last one, because I was debating. So, I just wanted to make sure there. My last honorable mention of 2016, Ratchet and Clank.
Never played it. I think it's like $10 right now at GameStop. I'm gonna go pick it up.
Game was a blast to play.
It was actually on a lot of people's best PS4 games.
I was going to put it on there, honestly.
Yeah, and I watched.
That's why it's last.
Watched a lot of gameplay, and I was like, "Oh, it's like Jet Set. He's grinding everywhere. That's cool."
Like, I wanted to put it on my list, but at last there was other games that I wanted to put on.
Exactly. Big year.
Mm.
Hard to differ.
Yeah,
But yeah, I got to get into that.
it's really fun. Like, it's essentially just the first Ratchet and Clank, but like rebooted, and they know it
Okay.
because
That's
they'll make
cool.
mentions every now and then,
Oh, that's cool.
which is pretty cool. And then like the game just everybody always said that Ratchet and Clank looks like a Pixar game, and now in 2016, it looks like a
It's
Pixar game.
Pixar game.
Let alone on a PlayStation Pro
Ooh.
in 4K.
Yeah, I'll bet that's cool.
It looks amazing.
I bet it looks really nice. Yeah, I gotta play that. I love Ratchet and Clank, but you know what I'm looking for now? I'm still looking for it. Who did Naughty Dog did Jack and
Yeah,
Daxter.
they did Jack and Daxter.
Naughty Dog, come on, please
They-
give
they're
me a
too
new Jack
busy.
and Daxter. I love Jack and Daxter.
They're too busy with Uncharted and Last of Us 2.
I know.
Oh, Part 2, sorry.
Part 2. Yeah.
So, your last honorable
Last
mention.
one is a handheld game. Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Yes. I have not played it. I've
Didn't
been
make my
wanting
top
to.
8 just because we get one every year, and I know they change every year, and this is by far the best one. This one is so cool. It's so cool.
I wanted to
Pokemon,
try
man.
because it looks really like they changed.
It's really
handful of stuff.
fun, and you've always got the enemy faction. You've got like the Skull Gang in this one. The 3D environments are even more detailed, if you can believe
I'm
it
saying
now.
I was watching some videos.
It's more close up. The walking animations for every character is more animated. Characters do more. Like
Seems like there's a lot more like voice work too.
yeah, there's a lot more voice work. The map isn't static anymore. The map just doesn't follow you. It actually you turn a corner and you'll it'll turn the map and you can see sides of things and more detail in the game. I'm not, just because I'm older and I'm like a Gen 1 guy, as the new Pokemon are just weird. They're just weird. There's
They're
a
basically-
freaking ice cream cone as a Pokemon.
And then you got the ones that are literally just copies of like the OG Pokemon.
Yeah,
But slightly different.
Right. They added not mega evolutions. They've been in the game. But they added these.
It's like the Hawaiian evolution stuff.
They're like these hyper moves where you actually it's kind of like a mega evolution, but they're like super attacks, and you charge them up as you battle, and then you release your super attack and changes the Pokemon, and it's got really really cool animations for them.
And I heard that one they do have like a lot of the OG Pokemon in that, don't they?
They do. They have almost all the Gen 1 Pokemon in this game. Right.
Sweet.
You can catch legendary. You can catch like all the legendaries. You can catch like Moltres and Zapdos and Articuno.
I gotta get a 3DS again.
You can't go wrong. I love the 3DS. I'm playing Animal Crossing. Pokemon Sun and Moon's awesome. I love it. I love it. It's so nice. And then they've got, which you can do it on the Wii U as well, but they brought out Super Mario Maker on the 3DS now.
I saw that.
And you can stylus and everything for really minute details, and I still got to pick that up.
That could be. I do have an idea for that to be a Thursday Throwdown idea, to where we
I
face
know.
each other's different
Yeah.
levels. That would be so perfect.
Not a fantastic year for Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really came out because I was really trying to think of things that came out for the Wii U this year,
That was really.
but there were
not-
only disappointments.
Yeah.
I didn't really think of a top 10 worst or disappointing games of this year,
No.
but like just to throw some out there, like No Man's Sky, disappointment. The Star Fox game is kind of a disappointment because it was supposed to be kind of throwback, but it wasn't great.
It did not look good.
It wasn't great. It was supposed to be the sequel that they were working on for N64, but it's okay. It's not great. It's nothing to write home about. Those are really the only two I can think of. But
Well.
that is my list for my honorable mentions.
So, now starts the top 8 games of 2016 for me and Matt.
I have to think on the fly too. I didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I did.
I have bullet points, so I'm going to be thinking on the fly here.
So, my number 8 game of 2016, The Division. Now, it was close between this and Ratchet and Clank, honestly. If I go by time spent The Division, mainly because this latest update in The Division has changed the entire game, where it's actually really, really fun. I was showing Matt earlier before we recorded. It's survival mode now that they added, which is essentially like H1Z1 King of the Hill, but more detailed to where, you know, you get scattered across like New York during a blizzard, and you have to like scavenge for like materials to craft coats, find coats, scarves to keep you warm. You got to find, you know, weapons on the fly because all you start off with is a pistol. You got to worry about code, food, thirst, and it's like your objective is get to the dark zone to get antivirals because you have an infection that is constantly ticking. If you pull it up, you can see you have about 45 minutes before you die.
Ooh.
And you can find painkillers to stop it for a little bit, but then if you take damage, kind of accelerates it a little bit. So you have to worry about not getting into battles that'll get you hurt. And then on top of that, you got to worry about the player versus player aspect of it too. That somebody sees you, they're going to want to take your crap.
Huh.
Then you got to worry about the AI people on the map. So you still got random AIs that you'll find an elite that has armor, and you're like, ooh, maybe I should not face him, and kind of try to figure out a way around him. And you're going from shelter to fire barrel, and you're pulling up the map, and it feels so strategic to where you're like, okay, I got to hurry up here, pull up the map, see where I can go next. Where can I go next? How far can I make it before I get cold? And then avoid people at the same time. So then you're basically trying to find materials because you got to craft a filter so you can even get into the dark zone.
Oof,
So you're really scavenging through New York while there's people all about trying to do the exact same thing and be the one first because there's only like one set of antivirals.
Okay. That's cool. They really upped the survivability of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
It's really fun. Like lately, every day since it came out, I've jumped in and played like a few hours. And that's a lot to say, like, because, you know, I did put it down, and it's like every day I'm like, you know what? I don't really feel like playing anything. I do want to play survival mode. I want to hop in there and see how far I get.
So, most of it was free updates. Like I know, like they
Yeah,
have
most of it,
expansions.
they have expansions, which is that survival mode. Now, updates have definitely fixed the game in the end game because they've added what's called world tiers now. So you can actually go around on the map shooting people that are essentially the same level as you now, and you can essentially get drops that are a little bit better. And they fixed like the drop rates and stuff like that,
so
which is really
essentially like they incorporated everything.
cool. Mm-hmm.
Like everybody is in everything now. So
Yep. And it's really cool. Like they don't make you. It doesn't feel like you're being forced to go into the dark zone anymore. Because like when the game first came out, when you got to like a certain level, it was like, okay, well, go into the dark zone. That's how you get better gear. But me not wanting to do that made me stop playing the game because I'm like, this is stupid. I don't want to go into the dark zone and but I can't level up because I'm playing by myself because I am a solo player most times in the division. So when it came to the dark zone, I'm like, I'm getting wrecked. Like I'll get a gun and then by the time I do the extraction, I'll run into a group of people. So I got mad and gave up. But this update's fixed it. Like you're not having to play the same level over and over again. So you got like the underground DLC that came out now too. Now you got the survival mode. I can only imagine what this next one's gonna be.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
So, Matt, you're number 8.
Overwatch is my number 8. I had to put it on the list. I was bouncing between honorable mention and top 8, and I put it in my top 8 because, let's face it, I'm not really playing it that much anymore at all. Just because it is all multiplayer and none of my friends play it, and we're just not in the mood to play it.
Yeah.
I can't help but argue that it absolutely revolutionized multiplayer shooters again.
Yeah.
And it's Blizzard. Blizzard came out with a shooter. No. Who saw that coming?
This would have been on my honorable mentions, but I didn't put it on there. It's not on my list either, unfortunately. Just because of what you said. I played it for a while.
Just dropped
and then dropped it. And I haven't felt the urge to go back, but I feel like if I wanted to go back, I could.
Yeah.
Because it's really approachable, even if you're like getting your butt kicked.
Yeah.
And it'll still be fun.
It's still fun. That's what I like about it. And every match is different, is what I like about it. You could be you could be pushing them back like crazy, or you could try and stop them from pushing you like crazy, and I never feel like it's one-sided. I never felt like I had a one-sided duel with other teams. Every single character is different in their own way. It's the new genre of hero-based shooters. Hero shooters. You've got a different character. You've got Hanzo. He has the bow. You've got a ninja. You've got Harambe. He's got like a frickin' lightning gun. And Harambe 2016.
Guns out for Harambe.
Guns out for Harambe. R.I.P. Harambe. You've got you got the characters in the game.
You got those characters, man.
They do events like they're doing the Winter Wonderland event right now. Everything this is also something else to mention. Good on Blizzard for this. Free updates. There is nothing to buy for this game
other than the loot crates.
But even then, it's just like I want to buy a box of random items so I could maybe get a skin or something.
Mm-hmm. And it feels like you're just tipping them.
Yeah. Right.
You're like, I'll give you, a couple dollars.
No pay to win aspect at all.
Because literally the only thing that you buy is cosmetics. It's not anything like that's gonna help give you an advantage over somebody else.
Yeah,
which is really nice.
Yeah, and then alongside the events, they also add special gameplay modes in each event. I remember
had that Rocket League.
Yes, that was so cool.
Fun.
When they did the 2016 Olympics event, they had I can't even remember names. The dude on rollerblades.
Yeah, the dude on rollerblades.
Jamaican
on rollerblades.
It was basically Rocket League, but with those guys on rollerblades. It was really fun. Right now, Winter Wonderland, they have.
Isn't it Mel doing like snow something?
Mel snowball fight.
Yeah, I haven't tried that.
That's really
yet.
Cool. But yeah, like all free, even like the heroes. Like they've added 2 new free heroes. 2? Or just 1, and I think they're coming out with the next one soon.
Okay.
And just so unique in their own way. Like the new one that they added, I think her name's Satara, maybe? No? I'm so bad at names in this game now.
Yeah, I know Tracer, the High Noon guy. I don't even know his name. I just know his name's High Noon guy.
It's High Noon.
Harambe. Crap. What's her name? That's the person I play as. The nerf this. chick with the robot.
Maya?
No. It's a
Bebop?
gamer girl, like
Yeah, I know.
She's like, ah. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Overwatch.
Yeah, so Overwatch, all you other people giving it number 1 are stupid.
I'm sorry.
Stop it.
Come on. It was an okay game, but come on now.
This is the same argument I had with The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword and people giving it 10s. Look. I am a diehard Zelda fan. I got like Zelda stuff for Christmas. I am a diehard Zelda fan. I love it. And I love the Skyward Sword. But I refuse to do this the whole time I'm playing the game. It literally made me give the game like a 7, and I didn't even finish it. I'm not going to do this the whole time. But I was on my Wii U today, and it is on the Wii Virtual Console to download.
Okay.
So I'm probably
I gotta play it.
going to play it now. If I can use, because they said you can use the gamepad, but they didn't say like you can use a Pro controller. So we'll see. It's only $20. So
it's times like this that I really wish we had a cameraman just to zoom in on your rant.
This is bullcrap. Stop it.
That would have been really great.
I don't want to do this.
So,
Eric, what's your number 8?
you mean 7?
7.
I've already gave 8.
What's your number 7? I got
My
really
number 7, Quantum Break.
I got to pick that up. I just dropped my Xbox One this year. I got to play that.
My boys at Remedy, which may not eventually be my boys anymore from what I'm hearing in the news, that they're focusing more on multiplayer and open world games, which is not like them because I love their stories that they make.
No, it's not. I feel like everything's going to be different now.
Quantum Break was a good placement in this year because I was dying for a good story game. Like the entire time I'm like, man, I really want a good story game. I cannot wait for Quantum Break because I know that's going to be good. And it was. I sat there and I stayed up.
Good.
This was the first game in a long time that I stayed there.
Marathoned?
And I marathoned until I beat it. I stayed up all through the night into the morning and beat that game on hard.
That's what I'm going to do when I start marathon. I'm going to like stay up all night for at least 2 games.
Like the story was just so good. I did not want to put it down. It was like a good movie and I'm like, what is going to happen next? How is this going to happen? And it's just like the whole time travel aspect. They did it so well. And it was so good. And I always loved time travel aspects in like stories.
I love time travel.
So like Remedy doing this and then it had Iceman in it.
Yeah.
He was like, it had so many good actors in it, and then it had like Easter eggs of Alan Wake in it, obviously. And it was so good.
Cool. That's
it
cool.
Makes me want Alan Wake 2 now too, because
I got to pick it up.
I want it.
I'm sure it's crazy affordable now.
Oh yeah, you can get even on the PC now too.
It's probably a bargain bin game at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta.
It deserves to be on my list because that was a great story of 2016.
Gotta pick up.
So Matt, you're number 7. Yes.
My number 7 is going to be. My number 7 is an odd choice for me.
Okay.
To put it so low on my list, but still, one of the best this year. Because I'm such a huge. My number 7 is Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
Always love Dark Souls. They did such a good job with this game. It's bigger, it's better, and with Bloodborne coming out before it, From Software was kind of like, we need more action, but we're gonna keep the defense side of it, but we need more offense in this game. So there's a perfect blend between shield and offense, and there's a just a disgustingly difficult boss in this game. I haven't gotten to him yet, but I watched a ton of people play him, and I'm just like, how did you do this? How?
That's my New Year's resolution, is to actually try to beat a Dark Souls game, because
I
give up. I give up halfway through, and like what will happen is my friend will want to play with me, then he carries me, so I'm not learning on my own. And then I get wrecked.
Write this down. I will help you play these games.
Like
I have beaten the first 2 games. I never beat the third one, but I got a
never
good,
beat any
good
of them.
chunk of the way through
I
it.
almost got through the second one all the way, and I
Okay.
gave up.
Okay, this second one is so awesome. The first one is honestly
The first one, when
one's
I
my
got
favorite.
to, I got past Sven's fortress, and then I got to that tower area where you were climbing on the building, and then that's where I quit because I kept getting shot by crossbows, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. You kept getting shot with the Black Knights
Yep.
that were here, and they're throwing the spears at you.
Yep.
That is so annoying because you have to walk up this tiny little thing, and
just
then you
a
have to
tiny
be
little
like,
thing, and then when you get knocked off, you're done. Well, so my number 6, super hot.
super hot.
Super hot.
Hot.
This
Super
game
hot.
was not going to be on my list.
Oh.
No, it was not. It had my eye this entire year, and I've only played it recently. Now, this game, for those that don't know, you essentially kill people. No.
That's it.
You essentially kill people.
Wrap.
But no, basically time stays still until you move. You die within 1 hit. So if somebody hits you once or shoots you once, you're done. And like I said, time only moves when you move. So you're literally planning out a strategy of how am I going to get this person over there to get this person over there without getting shot, and then having to worry about some guy spawning behind me at the same time. And it's so enticing to where like it hooks you, and then all of a sudden there's a story to this game that I didn't think was going to be a story. And it kind of took me by surprise because I'm like, oh, you're going to go there with it. Oh, you're really going there with it. Now you're really messing with me. And like, I love the whole menu systems because it's almost like an old school DOS machine, like computer. So you're going through and you're like clicking like the execute file and stuff like that.
Never mind what Homer just said.
I was like, what was that noise? So,
You just
well, yeah. So basically, you're playing it out. The story was just so fantastic. And I'm still playing it. I'm still trying to beat it, but it's so good. And it's just that's another game too that I'm playing every night because I wanna figure out what happens, and I'm like I love the gameplay hook of like trying to be. It's like a strategy game, but it's first person, you know. But yeah, super hot. My number 6, Matt.
Number 6.
What is your number 6?
My number 6 is going to be Titanfall 2.
Okay.
I have not beaten yet. I'm going through it at the moment, but I am absolutely loving Titanfall, and I love the fact that EA was just like, you know what? We messed up. Here, we're going to do something real special this time. So we've got a first-person campaign, a story. We've got a story. It's really cool. It's compelling. You get really attached to your Titan. I mean, they are mechs, but your Titan, BT.
Keep talking.
Okay. It's like, you get really attached to BT, and your character. There's talking scenarios where he'll say something, and you can respond to him. They give you like choices of dialogue to say to him. That doesn't really do anything. That just adds a little quirkiness to the game. You can interact with BT. There's boss battles with really unique villains, but we were talking about this earlier. They're not necessarily unique battles. They didn't really do much as far as making the fight unique. There are very cool scenarios, like there's one mission where I was going through this world foundry where they're basically manufacturing towns and trees and everything. Like the entire planet is just manufactured.
Yeah, that part was really cool.
And by the end of the mission, you get a trophy for it. You traverse a sideways town. Like the whole town, a little neighborhood is like plastered up against the side wall of the factory, and you're like wall running and jumping on the side of bookshelves and through houses and stuff to get to the top. And then when you get to the top, you're in this dome, and it's a simulation arena where you have to basically survive, which that was getting really annoying. I died like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, that part got pretty hard.
Because you have to fight these things called Reapers, where they're basically tiny titans. They're unmanned titans, and they're like half the size. But all I have is like my weapons. But it was really cool. And then the multiplayer was improved upon a lot. Very, very fun. More modes, more customization. You can join networks now where it's basically kind of like clans or servers.
Yeah, it's kind of like like communities in a way.
Communities. I joined I joined Guns Out for Harambe 2016.
Oh no. No.
It was the second highest group.
Man.
It was the second highest community in the game because you can actually choose from a list. It was kind of funny because the main one is like the AVD or whatever community, like the official like EA one that they created, and there's like over 1 million people in it.
I joined the Kind of Funny community.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. There is a Kind of Funny community.
Yep.
I just joined like that. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I'm joining.
There's a few people out.
And then there's a trophy for it too. So I was like, let me join a community really quick and a network. But really fun. Traversal's always fun. They added the grappling hook.
The grappling hook was really cool. And then that time aspect was just fantastic.
Also, that mission was so cool. It's also fair to mention that when I was playing Black Ops 3, wall running and shooting and that kind of stuff was difficult.
Yeah.
I just couldn't grasp it.
In that and even the new Call of Duty, it's like it just doesn't feel as smooth.
No, it's weird.
It's so fluid in Titanfall 2.
I just can't do it. Titanfall 2 is a little bit easier. There's some things like you have your wall hook where you can aim, if you're using it, you can, when you aim, you stick to the wall and you can aim, which it throws people off because they're not expecting
you're thinking
it.
You're gonna wall run, and you're like, I got you.
The grappling hook is nice because it, you can get to areas fast and blah blah blah. And like when you're at the ship to leave the map, because that's always a cool thing I thought about the game.
Yeah, the whole extraction thing.
If you do not get to the ship and you die, you're dead. You didn't make it to the ship. Your team can win, but so that was really cool. But yeah, I am very, very much pleased at just how much they've improved upon Titanfall 2. And I'm loving the story, character interaction, voice acting, and content. Multiplayer's captivating. I want to go home and play it. So there's that. My number 6.
My number 5.
What's your number 5?
Rise of the Tomb Raider PS4.
Oh,
obviously, I've said this a million different times on this show and other shows. I am a huge Tomb Raider fan, and I love Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I did play on the Xbox. However, I played it on the definitive console, the PS4, this year.
Yeah.
And let me tell you one thing. They add so much stuff for this new edition, and it was so good. The endurance mode was literally like a Dark Souls aspect of survival.
Oh, I can't
where
wait.
You had like, do tombs and stuff, and then they had a co-op on that one too, which is crazy. They had a co-op.
I forgot we can do that.
And then you had like the freaking like the card system, so you can like replay missions and like do different scenarios and stuff. So it's kind of like a never-ending game in a way, because you're getting points, you're getting new cards and all that stuff. And there's new skins now for the PS4 20th anniversary, where you could play as classic Laura, which was amazing. Walking around where it's like just like, oh man, look how far we've come. Like, it's like, but the best part is the fact that I've already did a topic where we talked about that I have a PS4 Pro. This game
is gorgeous.
The best looking PlayStation Pro game.
Okay.
It looks fantastic. fantastic.
bet it'll
And
look-
it's so like just crazy looking in 4K, and you're like, man, they spent the time in this game.
I'll bet it'll even look pretty sweet on like my regular, because I have a regular PS4, but I just got a 4K TV, Ultra HD, so I'm sure like everything I'm playing is looking pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Still, even on my regular PS4. So
Like it's so just great. The story was still a Tomb Raider story, but it was good. Can't wait for their next one. I love Tomb Raider. That's all I
Tomb
gotta say
Raider's
to that.
always been
It's a great video game.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much stuff to do. There's the tombs, the optional challenge tombs where you got to really think how you're gonna do this to do this, and they really elaborated on this new Rise of the Tomb Raider one. It's a great game. I recommend picking up for anybody that has not tried Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
So Matt, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Doom.
That's my number 4. So we're gonna talk about it
Okay.
at the same time. So yes, his number 5 is Doom. My number 4 is Doom as well.
It was so. I'm so happy.
I was surprised how good it was.
I'm so happy. Like they're like we're rebooting, we're going back classic. We're gonna make it like it was, and I'm like, shut up.
Like, yeah, okay, sure you are.
'Cause
we've heard this before.
Because it's just like every time somebody says that when they're like rebooting a game, it's not.
Or they
In a
change
way,
it so
or they
much to
change
where
it-
it's like not
they change it
thing.
enough to where it's like, nah, this game. Let me tell you something. This game is original Doom with really good graphics.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
And
it's
then the story was
awesome.
surprisingly got really good.
The story, I've like.
Like they didn't. I don't think they realized that they had a good story there.
They
Like
did.
like. Because I'm sitting there like, okay, the story's gonna be, whatever. You're gonna
Tacked
be killing.
on.
You're gonna be killing, demons. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, where is this going?
I know.
So it's like, and then just that cliffhanger ending at the end,
ending,
and you're like,
ending was
what?
that guy, that robot.
I will come back to slay him.
Oh, I can't wait for a sequel. Oh, I want him to die. I've never been. Well, I have been angry at characters
But like,
and
it was
villains,
it was so surprising. Like, it was just, oh my god.
It was very surprising. It felt good to be like really
Yes.
angry at the end. I'm
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're gonna.
You're like,
die.
oh, and then it's like Doom, and I'm like, no. And
Oh,
I
man.
love the ending with the arts, like the artwork and stuff. Like that was so.
The
cool.
artwork was really cool.
Like,
the oh my gosh, the
the
boss
music,
battle, the
the
music,
boss
the
battles.
boss battles, the cyber demon was
That
awesome.
was so epic. And then when you first got that BFG,
the BFG
and like it just went, whoa! Like you're like, holy crap!
like, and that's what I really like is they did such a good job in this game of letting everybody know, look, weapons is this game. Like weapons are iconic. They've always been an iconic staple in the Doom series. It's always been about the shotgun, the BFG, the chainsaw, the plasma rifle. They added some new ones in this game. I'm trying to think. They had the pistol's always been the
Yeah,
pistol,
it's
the
been the
handgun.
pistol.
That's what you always start with.
Yeah, there's a few, but
They've got the rocket launcher. Were there new ones or were there not new ones?
I think there was like a couple, but
There were a couple.
it was so hit and miss because it's just like in the end of the day, you didn't really care. You just wanted to slay demons.
You just wanted to go
the music's
nuts.
pumping. You're not thinking really.
Mhm.
You're just killing. And
Mhm.
like that's what the coolest part of that game was, where it was just like
You
the music kicks in, and then you're like,
No, you're in
yes.
for it. And it was just hordes of demons, like the classic games, just hordes
Yes.
of demons, and I never felt like it was repetitive.
No.
Like I was stuck
That
in
was
an
strange,
area
like-
with waves of people. There were like 2 or 3 occasions where they were like, you're going to have to defend yourself here.
Mhm.
But even then, it was like, this is crazy. It was so over the top, like Doom should be.
You're constantly moving, constantly
Constantly
just like
moving.
just killing, and it was just like it was so good.
Um,
And
the-
then even the multiplayer was really fun.
Yeah.
And then the whole snap maps, so you're making your
Snap
own
Map
levels.
was so cool. They actually have people who have taken the time to recreate classic map
Yeah.
playthroughs. Like you can go. There was a guy who recreated Doom 1.
Coming soon to a Thursday Throwdown. I'm making you play my map and try to beat it.
Okay, we can do that. Sounds fun.
I just gotta get back into the groove of making a map because I made a really good story map that I really wanted to do a campaign with.
Oh man, yeah. What else was there? Glory kills. They added glory kills.
the
Were
glory
really cool.
kills
So
were
when the
just-
character was flashing, you
That's
could
how you
just,
got
like,
health. Like
that's how you got
get
health
A little
and
bit of health and like ammo.
Just rip him apart and just tear arms off and beat him with it, and just glory, gory fun. The chainsaw, I really like how they emphasized the chainsaw as like one of the most iconic weapons.
Oh god.
Where you basically get 2 uses out of it, but it's an insta kill for like anything.
Yeah.
But you only get 2 uses out of it, and then when you use it, it's basically like your refill kill.
Mhm.
The enemy drops everything for you.
Oh, it was so good.
In a pinch, when you were in a bind, like when what are they called? Barons.
Oh gosh, those.
When the Barons of Hell were, because there was a point where there was like 2 levels. It was like the thing in the middle, the elevator in the middle, and then you had, like upper level and lower level towards the end of the game. That was I died a lot.
That was a
there.
hard, like, it got really hard at the end.
There were pinkies, and there were
Invisible pinkies.
invisible pinkies, and there were
Just a bunch of barons.
barons, and there were the brutes, whatever you call them, the big ones.
And then you had those the cyber eye.
Keiko demons.
The Keiko demons,
The
yes.
Keiko demons.
Those things were so annoying, but like so cool at the same
Music's
time.
pumping. It's just like every battle was just like,
Yeah, like your hands are sweating after every battle. You're like, I made it.
just never a dull moment.
No.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Good job, Id. Good job.
So, actually, what? No, because that was my number 4. What's your number 4?
Oh, my number 4 is going
That's
to
true.
be...
So you have to go again.
I have to
I'm
go
like,
again.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wait a minute. No, you didn't do a 4 yet.
Number 4 is Battlefield 1. I absolutely adore Battlefield. But, and I might catch flack for this, but I absolutely love the World War I aspect to it. I think it's
Yes.
really fun, but I have never gotten burnt out this fast playing a Battlefield game. I still have the desire to go back to Battlefield 4. I still think Battlefield 4 is top tier Battlefield. I
After
think
they
it's
added all the updates and
after
stuff, like
all
it was
the
so
updates,
good.
like right now, the state of Battlefield 4, the game is miraculous. It is beautiful. I love Battlefield 4. But Battlefield 1 is awesome. They added a lot of new stuff.
It was just different, you know?
It's different. I do love the like little minute details that they added to this game that I wish like they would just say, we're going to put that in Battlefield 4. Like I love the overhead map at your spawn
Yes.
screen, how it's very much more detailed.
It's just
They
so
have
seamless,
more-
like you're going right into
more
the
detailed,
battle. Like,
more detailed deaths. The maps are really cool. That's another thing with this game is they really, really, really captured everything World War One in World War One very, very well. Everything looks so cool. They added the first time a first-person shooter has ever compelled me to play the campaign. Because
the
it's not
caveats were so
the
good.
caveats. It's not one playthrough of a game. You pick your own war stories. So
And it felt more like a war story, and you weren't
and
like a
it was
one-man
a
army.
Real like I am reading a veteran's deceased or not deceased
Like diary or
diary,
something.
like
And
his
it was
journal entries of his experience he had at this battle. You know, the battle of wherever it was with the tank.
yeah, the tank one was.
The tank one was really cool.
And like it made you care about those characters.
you care so much about these
fast,
characters.
you know.
Yeah.
Like, and it was so unique with that.
And it's all like they did such a good job at saying this is World War One, and it's sad. It was a very, very, very sad time in our world, and we want you to feel that way.
Yeah.
We're going to.
It
capture
wasn't
the
like death
sadness.
is cool. I mean, war is cool. Let's just shoot everybody. It was
That's-
like, no, it's dramatic and it's sad and
Yeah,
it's bad.
it was really sad.
Like-
But they also finally added something that I am so happy they added. It's kind of like Rush, but it's operations where it's the battle of this area, and it's like real war, and you're like fighting here, and we're like, we need to push them back. Okay, round 2, we're in this area. Push them. Round 3, push them. Keep pushing. We're winning. Keep pushing. So, and they last like 60, 65 minutes to do.
I've played a couple of those. Those were pretty fun.
Really, really fun. I also am so happy that they added. They kind of took microtransactions out of the game, but they didn't. You can still buy battle packs. But they added a thing where you can, if you get the same items out of a crate, which you can scrap them, and then you use your scrap points to buy crates. And then the animation opening them is really cool. It goes into a whole cutscene where the guy's like crowbarring them open. It's really cool. But yeah, Battlefield's always been awesome. Love Battlefield. But I don't know. I just got burnt out.
See, it didn't make my list just because it goes back to the whole thing of I was burnt out on first-person games.
Burnt out on shooters, yeah.
And, like, the stories were great. But then when it came down to, like, okay, well, it's the multiplayer, and I'm playing multiplayer in a first-person game, and I was kind of, like, done at that point, you know?
Yeah.
Ow. Well, so, do you have anything else to say about Battlefield?
No.
Okay. All right, cool. So, my number 3 then is Watch Dogs 2. Watch Dogs 2.
That was your number 3?
Yes.
Good, because that's my number 3 too.
Okay, so this is going to be a combination. Me and Matt's number 3 is Watch Dogs 2. This game was so much fun.
I have to mention that I wasn't, like, I don't want to say like I was out of gaming this year, but as far as games that captivated me the most, I could not put Watch Dogs 2 down. The world of San Francisco is awesome.
Yeah, like you actually, literally, like you were saying, it caught me at a time where I couldn't play any games.
Game bouncing.
Yeah, I was game bouncing, and I'm like, nothing's grabbing me. And then Watch Dogs 2 came out, and I was hooked.
Yes.
And it was so much fun. Like, the story was silly and fun, and it's like it just kept you going and going. The co-op was just silly and fantastic. Check out our Let's Play series. There's more to come eventually. I have not had time to edit our rest of the series, but we'll probably make some more stuff here.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, the game was just so fantastic. The actors, silly fun. The hacking was so much fun. Like, the game, literally, sublime fun.
Yeah. And that's we mentioned before, Ubisoft needs sequels to do better. Yeah, Watch Dogs 2. It's like Watch Dogs from 1 to 2 was just like the biggest transformation.
Yeah. And I even liked the fact that they did add Aiden, because Aiden was an interesting character.
Yeah.
They just didn't really flesh him out like that much, you know?
Yeah.
And the fact that they put him in this one as like a little Easter egg, which was pretty cool, because it's like, oh, he's a BA, you know? It's like,
yeah,
everybody's like, that's the Fox, man. And the fact that it's I'm pointing, but there's no camera at this point, but it's like the Fox, man. And it's like, yeah, the Fox. But yes, Watch Dogs 2 definitely, it deserves more praise than it's got.
Just like colors,
characters, the game was just so pretty looking and like colorful and fun, you know.
Just a very fun world. I love how you can interact with everything.
And then the scouts. So you're taking geo pictures of like different landmarks.
The social aspect of the game, the social media aspect of the game. You can take pictures, people comment on it. Like
me and my one friend, we were playing co-op, and we didn't play a single mission. We were running around finding landmarks.
Yeah.
Like it's that fun. Yeah. And then just screwing around calling, gang hits on somebody, and then watching the AI, like the emergent gameplay fold out, and like, what is going to happen here? Let's call a hit on this. And then I make up I found myself sub-gaming, metagaming, be like, this person was a wanted felon, and he's going to get cops on him. Then all of a sudden, gang members came at the same time, and then it's just like, I caused this crazy chaos. Like, my friend, I would play co-op with, would get so mad because it's like, dude, You're causing so much chaos. You were crazy. I'm like, this game is so fun. I just want to see what happens. But
yeah, just such a fun world. Lots to do. Metagame's huge in this.
Yes.
The world's huge. Lots to do. Smartphone apps. One thing to mention, I'm not too keen on the music. Music's a very
there was
not-
like
not
a
bland,
couple. Yeah, there was
but
a
there's
couple
like-
good songs, and then the rest were like,
There's like 4 radio stations in the game.
yeah.
I do like the Song Finder app.
Yes, that was really cool.
That's
Like
really
you hear
cool.
a song and it's like, it's Shazam. You're like, boom, okay, got the song.
Yeah, that's cool.
So now we're down to number 2. My number 2. Now this is gonna surprise you. Uncharted 4.
Okay.
Uncharted 4, and the number 1 is gonna surprise you.
Okay.
So number 4 for me is Uncharted 4. This I thought for the longest time was gonna be my number 1. There was another game that surprised me, which we'll get to more later. So Uncharted 4 was
I
a
feel
culmination of a series coming to a definitive end, and it made you feel rewarded for sticking with it the entire time.
I absolutely love games that are a series, 3 or 4 games, and when they end the series, you feel like the time you invested into the series was so well paid for. In the end, they wrapped up all the characters
So much feels
well.
like-
You just feel it feels so complete.
If you weren't crying or had some water in your eyes, something was wrong with you at the end there. Like
Yeah.
even like just during some of the moments in that, like I even found myself kind of getting like touched up in the beginning when you were in the attic and you're looking at all the memories of different things from the different games that he kept in his attic. And he's like looking, it's like, oh, there's a coin. I'm like, that's cool. Like, and then it's like, and then you find something else and you're like, oh man, I remember that. Like, just that type of stuff was just like, man. And
the fact that they had a story in a story, like when they flash back to when they're kids and they break into the mansion and they find the book and she's like, oh, so you're Sam and Nathan Drake. Like,
it was such a good game.
loved it. Ugh, gosh.
Like, it just, there's no words really else to express just how great of a game that was.
Phenomenal story. Wasn't short. It was lengthy.
I felt the only thing that I felt like it was a tiny bit long in the tooth.
Okay.
During a couple sections.
That's true.
During like when you're in the Lost City.
Yeah.
There was a couple sections where it's like, come on.
Let's go.
Come on.
You're dragging.
Come on.
Dragging
Come on.
your feet.
You're just dragging it. I know you're kind of spacing it out, but come on. I'm like, I'm still enjoying my time, but come on now. So, but anyways, yeah. I thought it was really good. It was more of a mature Uncharted. Like, because the beginning was so somber and like it was setting up. Like,
Yeah.
it was just like, it was so good. And then the ending was just so worth it.
Yeah. He's a married man now. He just wants his day job, and then he just wants to come home and play Crash Bandicoot with his wife, okay?
Right? I mean, come on, who doesn't?
Who doesn't want to
Who
come
doesn't
home
want to do that?
sit and play Crash Bandicoot?
Oh, so.
And I love how he's like, he has no idea how to play a video game. He's just like,
I know,
I'm an
he's so
outdoors man.
oblivious.
Like, do
He's
you
like,
know what I've
"Do
done
you-
in my
That
lifetime?
doesn't look like a bandicoot.
That doesn't look like a Bandicoot.
Why does the
Do you
bandicoot
even know what
have shoes and
Bandicoot-
pants?
And like, I love how the game actually like played and worked perfectly, like
Yeah.
you would have played it on the PS1.
So, Matt, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is like, this is so difficult for me, and I almost want to combine my 1 and 2, but I can't.
No, you cannot.
I can't. And this was like, This is really, really difficult for me, only because I made this game my number 2 solely based on compelling story, because
Ooh,
I am
wonder where you're
such
gonna go, because now I'm really intrigued if it's what I
because
consider number one.
my number 1 has a ridiculously compelling story, but so does my number 2. And my number 2 just it didn't have enough of a compelling story. Okay, so my number 2 as big of a fan of the franchise as I am.
Oh no!
My number 2 is Final Fantasy 15.
No.
It which is
So,
why I'm
disclaimer.
saying
Disclaimer: my number one is Final Fantasy 15.
okay. My number 2, which I am so happy that this has happened with the series, that it's my number 1 franchise. And I didn't think that I would have sounded biased if it was my number 1, because the game's phenomenal. It's a lot of people's number 1s.
The fact that it's my
But the
number
fact that it's his number 1 is just great.
yeah,
And it's another thing to mention that at the beginning of the game starts up and it literally says Final Fantasy for first-timers or long-time fans.
and that's me. I've always tried to get into Final Fantasy. Always dabbled in like almost every Final Fantasy, but I never got pulled in. This one pulled me in and did not let go. And then there was, have you beat it?
No, I haven't beaten
Okay.
it yet.
There was so much feel, so I'll kind of be vague. Just so many feels like in that story. It was so good. Like at first it was like, okay, what's happening? But then once the story picks up, it carries you and you're gone.
Once you probably get to the part where I'm at or where I'm going, I'm about to board Sid's boat to leave.
Yeah, it's gonna pick up after that, and then
Okay.
it's just like you don't want to stop the
'Cause
story.
there were.
So I have a feeling this could have been your number one if you played through the end, because the end was just like, woo! The end was so good, and I'm sorry for audio listeners, but that ending was just it was so good.
There might. This is why I said I want to conjoin my number 1 and 2, but I can't. That's just not how this works. But I might revise my list a little bit. You know, well, I'm not going to revise my list. I'm just going to probably say as soon as I beat it that it's probably going to be up there as my number 1. But yes, just The Witcher 3 obviously had the biggest, most expansive world with things to do. I think there's more interaction in towns and such in Witcher 3, but in this game, there's so much detail in everything.
Yeah, the game looks fantastic. Like
The world looks so detailed, so finely detailed, so awesome. Hair has I know that sounds
they
funny.
finally perfected hair in a video game.
I know that sounds funny, but hair has always been a big thing for Square with the Final Fantasy games. Like, look at the hair details, because everybody's always got wacky hair jobs and haircuts, and the hair actually finally looks awesome, as good as it's ever been. Chocobos are just chocobos. You gotta love the chocobos. There's chocobo customization. You can name your chocobo. You can finally feel like it's your chocobo. Like my chocobo is mine. He's white, and you can put medals and such, like awards that your chocobos won from races and whatnot. There's the chocobo farm. You can feed them different kinds of geisel greens, like mint greens or whatever, and they give them stamina boosts. You can level up your chocobo. I named my chocobo Buckbeak.
Buckbeak. I love it. I love
it. The story.
The story is fantastic.
The story, and I'm on like chapter 7 or 8 or something like that right now. I'm about to take a boat into an area where it's probably going to get ridiculous. As always, optional bosses and optional battles and optional things to do are awesome.
The hunts.
In this game. The hunts, the bounty hunts.
They're like Monster Hunter quests.
And it's so cool how you go to a diner at an outpost, and the guy's like, he has the bounties. You
Yeah,
know,
he's like, I got a job for you.
you talk to them, and he uncovers areas on the map in the area you're in for campsites and treasure spots and minerals, and you can customize the regalia, your
And
car.
Let's not forget, the coolest feature that I loved in that game was the fact that you had to go to rest to level up. And
You
then
do.
the fact that you have to even worry about food for stat boosts.
Mhm.
So you had to actually go to a campsite and have Iggy fix foods for you. And so you're finding recipes
Right.
in
And
a
on
game,
top of that,
and
you're
the
finding recipes.
food looked delicious.
The food. That is another thing to mention. The food is so spectacularly detailed. It's like
Have you
I
done
drool,
the cup noodles quest?
I haven't done the
Oh
quest.
my gosh. The cup noodles quest was so funny because it literally acted like a commercial and they knew it. So they were
That's
playing it
awesome.
like cup noodles is the most delicious, affordable, blah 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 blah. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like I love my cup noodles on a warm evening, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, they're really doing this. they're so sponsored by cup noodles and they're playing it off like that.
That's awesome.
And the fact that I liked the setting where it was a realistic fantasy game.
It was. There's a lot of real world mentioning in this game.
It was. They said something of how it is. It's like, real life fantasy or something like that. When they were describing it.
Yeah.
And it's literally like that. Like, I mean, you have like, it feels like you're on an Earth. Yeah, there's still like, weird stuff. I actually saw a cactar. I did not know that they were actually fully in the game, but they are in the game.
Oh, dude. See, here's the thing with Final Fantasy, because here's my Final Fantasy knowledge coming into play. So, every single Final Fantasy has their staples.
Yeah.
They have things that are in each game. Cactar, they're going to be in every single game.
The Moogle is a bear, though. I mean, it's like a teddy thing.
Yeah, the Moogles.
I don't think they could have worked.
Are in every game, but they would have, like, I haven't seen one yet, but I feel like this game they'd kind of be weird and out of place, but they've got to do them somehow.
Yeah, it's like a little stuffed bear,
Okay, that's fair.
which looks cool.
And
Hey,
Sid,
Koopa.
Sid is in every single game. He takes different forms, but he's always
He
the
takes
ship
different
master.
forms.
He's a Time Lord. I'll get into that later. Spoilers.
For the next episode.
But Sid is always the ship master in every single game.
Okay.
You always take your ship problems and whatever. He always does the ship upgrades, and he always does upgrades to whatever vehicle and whatnot. But now he has Cindy, his daughter, which is hilarious.
I love that it's like
Sid
Sydney.
and Sydney, or
Yeah.
is it Cindy or Sydney?
Cindy.
It's Cindy. Yeah,
Cindy.
it's Cindy, which is funny. I love that.
Prompto is like obsessed with her.
I love it.
Like the characters in that game
Characters,
are just
yes.
so
Prompto.
good.
So far, Prompto's my favorite. Everything Prompto has to say is fantastic.
Mine is Prompto, and I actually dig the main character because he feels like how I would feel in a situation like that. Just kind of like lethargic, like, oh, come on. Like, it was just, it was so cool. But, like, the process of him growing up in the story, too.
Yeah.
Pays off in the end.
I love how I was in the market district of the first like kind of big town you're in. I can't remember the name of that town. But when you're is it Lestalium? No, Lestalium is like the first town you're in. I can't remember.
Hammerhead?
No, Hammerhead's the first outpost you get to, but you know what
I know what
like
you're talking
the
about,
first
yeah.
town you get into where you can look out onto the canyons and then back, and it's got like the hotel area.
That's
and
the
then market
Stallion.
district. That is Lestalium.
Yep.
Okay, it's Lestalium. I was right. Yeah, you got something right.
Yeah, where you saw, like, the crystal place.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the Stallion.
But like I did a bunch of side quests for people in the market district, and I did this one where you have to go get these green beans from this farm.
Yes,
And
that's
then
literally all you're doing is harvesting beans.
Yeah, and then when I brought him back, Ignis was like, he was like, "Go on, try him, Noctis." He's like, "I don't want to."
Yeah,
He's
I,
like,
I
"Dude,
love the
just try
personality
him."
with it.
And he's like, "You never want to try anything."
Like, I love the personality with him, and then
Yeah.
like it's just you have to watch the movie and the anime to get the full effect, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, because if you don't, there are some weird quirks where you're like, huh?
Okay. They
But-
kind of show scenes from Kingsglaive in the game,
But then
and it's kind
even-
of like, what? If
but
you haven't seen
yeah, and then they
Yeah.
don't add like audio cues because Sean Bean, they didn't want to, I guess, pay him again.
Yeah,
to have
right.
a-
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, so you have to watch the movie, and it's such a good game.
And then, like you said, character growth in that game and character transformations in the game are really, really cool. And I've never felt so like characters being relatable, because I had a really, really, really cool heartfelt conversation between Noct and Prompto.
Mhm.
They were sitting on top of the motel, and it just
Oh,
happened.
yeah,
It's
that
really
part.
cool because
Yeah.
nothing is cued. It just
It just
happened.
happens.
It
Yeah.
was loading, and I was like playing around on my phone. I was like, oh, he wants to talk to me. And he had this really, really, really cool, heartfelt conversation where he
Yeah.
was like, man,
I try
I
to be
may
funny,
seem like this really upbeat guy who's cool with everybody, but I was a really, really antisocial, shy person before I was with you guys. And
Like,
was
I don't
like,
feel like I fit in. Like,
I don't feel like I fit in, and I never talked to anybody, and I felt like I was just really stupid and out of place, and I just said foolish things. And I'm like, man, that really hit me.
Yeah.
That was because, like, I won't lie.
I was like, oh man, Prompto. Like,
Like I had friends in high school,
Yeah.
but I wasn't the popular clique or anything like that. I wasn't antisocial, but we had like our group of buddies who would hang out and play games and whatnot. But I was like, man, Prompto, well, good for you for being cool now,
right?
breaking out of your shell. Which we had that conversation, and now I'm like, man, I really want him to ask out Cindy.
Right? I know, right? Oh,
I really
man.
want them to hit it off. Like, that'd be really good for him. So, yeah. I'm sure that's surprising to you and surprising to our audience if they followed along and known that I'm such a big Final Fantasy fan.
And
But
shocked
yes,
that that's my
That
first.
is my number 2 is Final Fantasy 15.
And that is my number 1.
This is number 1. We both just talked about it, so his list is
So-
over.
Matt, what's your number 1?
My number 1. Are you guys ready for this? My number 1, Peggle 2. No, it's not Peggle 2.
Oh crap! I was gonna say Pego 2 didn't come out this year.
No, I just wanted to say Peggle 2. I just wanted to say Peggle 2 just because I'll never
I've been
forget.
playing Peggle like on the phone.
Just because I'll never forget how the guy announced Peggle 2 at the EA press conference a couple years ago. Just like, Peggle 2. That was it. What happened? Everybody's looking at each other.
I was like, what?
Anyway, my number 1 is Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 4. I know we already went into pretty good length.
We
on
went
it.
into pretty good detail with Uncharted
Yes,
4.
Uncharted was just fantastic.
That story.
And it deserves to be the last thing to talk about because it was a culmination of the whole series coming to an end.
Not a single storyline that I have played through has compelled me as much as Uncharted 4. Oh, that's a lie.
Well, that's a lie.
But as far as, games that came out this year, nothing compelled me as much as Uncharted 4.
Yeah. I love it. I do want to go back and play it on Crushing like I usually do,
Yeah, I know, right? Now that I've got my new TV, I'm like,
especially on my Pro.
reinstall it.
Got to do my 4K on
It's
Uncharted and it looks
so
fantastic.
beautiful.
But yeah, that was my number 2. But yeah, it was really close. I was so debating so hard. But I'm like, Final Fantasy took me by shock. It was a series that I never took really too seriously, and it made me have a different outlook on Final Fantasy.
Now, to mention your number 1 being Final Fantasy for you,
Yeah.
has it compelled you a little bit to go back and play like 10 and 10-2 remastered on PS4?
I will eventually get it on PS4. I
Please.
already
Please. Please experience
I
that
did
game.
get Final Fantasy 13 again.
Okay, cool.
I've been playing a little bit of that, and then I even went further back on a game that I didn't give a chance, but then it's heavenly. It's It's heavily inspired combat-wise from Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom
Which
Hearts.
There will be more talking about that on the Killer Fox Show. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Oh, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts.
So, yeah, be on the lookout for Wednesday's Killer Fox Show with that, where I talk about my first takes on Kingdom Hearts after my Final Fantasy revelation. So,
I'm really, really glad Final Fantasy has sparked your interest in some of my favorites.
Yeah. And, like, that's the thing. I was more Wednesday. So, that has been the last year show, not the last week show, where we talked about our top 8 games and our honorable mentions of 2016. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Good wrap.
Because it was fantastic.
2016, that is a wrap.